Welcome to the Starlight Podcast. Here we discuss the effects of modern culture on our mental, physical, psychological, and spiritual lives through a traditional Kemetic perspective. We hope to provide insight into what we have learned our ancestors did traditionally to live harmoniously with nature. Let the starlight illuminate your mind and shine on the path to help grow the seeds of change. Come join us in the light.
Ujahi, welcome. This is a special vaulted episode. I am here with my brother, our producer, editor, Bikgeb.
Ujahi.
And today, Shemsru is not with us, but shout out to Shems Heru. Before we get into this vaulted episode, I would like to open this episode with giving honor to the Dogon High Priest, Master Healer, the founder of the Kebta, the Makaru, the Truth Teller, Nejabu Lamosa Moro Denabig, because, and you will hear more in this episode, without all that the Kebta, the Earth Center, had done for us, with all the sacrifice that Master Naba had given to the world, we would not be here. The changes that we hope to be ready for and all that we've been given so that we can really face life well, we just would not know. And we are all profoundly grateful to his sacrifice of bringing the knowledge of Kemetic culture to the diaspora. So Netaduao, thank you. We also want to give honor and thanks to all of our ancestors, the ancestors of myself, Bikgeb, because without our ancestors, none of us would be here with you today. And we want to also give thanks to all of your ancestors, because without them, you would not be here today. We also want to acknowledge the seen and unseen forces that are here with us today as well. So today is a special vaulted episode because there has been some changes. You guys haven't heard from us in a while, so we wanted to give you some context and background. As you've seen in the past, we have been the Kebta DMV presents the Starlight Podcast. There has been changes in our organization, and the structure of the Kebta in the diaspora has been taken back home, taken back to the indigenous cultures in Merrusheta, in traditional Africa, that has maintained, upheld, and kept them for time since the pharaohs. It has been time. The divinities, the royalty has decided to take the Makaru's mission and return it home. So what that means is the Earth Center, the Kebta, is no longer here within the diaspora. The temples have been closed. Now, in regards to us, the initiates, the members, all that we've learned this far, all that we've had the privilege to learn, that is with us. That is part of our lives. It is now our responsibility to take what we've been given, taken what we've learned in life, taken even the mistakes that we've made in not understanding the profundity of what we had in our hands at the moment, to have, Naba Irita having the teachings of those like Nejabu and the elders of the Earth Center, like right there at our hands. We did not understand, as most of us don't. You don't know what you got until it's gone, the depths of it. But it's now our responsibility to take all that we've learned and move forward and continue to live our lives in a way that will honor our ancestors and make them proud. So the structure and the change of our podcast is changing, but we're not going anywhere. So we wanted just to talk a little bit about that, because this, for us here in Baltimore, is a very selfish move. And some of you might be like, well, what do you mean selfish? Because we think of selfish being something that is all about an individual, and it means that it's detrimental to the collective, to the community, because you don't care. But the true meaning of selfishness from a traditional perspective is one that is preoccupied with their own evolution, one that is preoccupied about how they function in life and how they continually can be their best self. And that's where our podcast is today. We are going to be working to continue to give you guys all that we've been given through the teachings of traditional Africa. But now, without them to hold our hands, we are going to move forward and strive to be better and give that back to you. Bikgeb, how do you feel about us moving forward as, in a sense, I guess, an independent podcast? We no longer have the great leaders behind us that have assisted us in building this to what it is, but I think we have the strength to move forward and really do great.
Yeah, I agree, Ujai. Once again, as an independent podcast, I don't really see it as like a step back, but like you said, taking what we've learned and everything we've kind of had in our back pockets and just using it to continue to guide us, move us forward, so that we can, really pull in the people, right, and really, see them and what they need and what information we can be getting out there and how we can come together as a community. Something that we've always needed, but how more important it is now. It's interesting. It seems like we as human beings, and I'm going to speak for myself, there's so much that we had right at our fingertips. And you would think that when you have such greatness around you, you would do more. You'd be moved to do more, to work harder. But most of us aren't. And that's kind of the way of Western thinking. We kind of just sit back and watch other people sacrifice and work. And it's unfortunate, but it's not until that's removed from you, if you're serious about the journey in some way, you all of a sudden say, oh my goodness, what do I have to do now? Because I think in those moments, you're going to do one thing or other. You're going to just stop and do nothing and kind of fall back into your old conditioning.
Yeah, your old conditioning, your old habits. We could have, in the moment of the changes, there was no doubt in my mind that I wanted to continue this podcast. But at the same time, I remember also thinking, will we be able to move forward? And what I realized in that moment is forward motion only takes one person moving forward. It's not about you saying, okay, well, I don't know if I can do it because I don't have this person or that person or this thing. It takes one person moving forward that creates a shift.
Being selfish.
So, to dig into what selfishness, Bikgeb and I were talking, I had an epiphany today.
It was good. It was good, y'all. I should have recorded it.
I'm going to try to share a bit of it with you all. I follow on Instagram. Shout out to Ooh Polish. Now I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's OO Polish. There's a Black woman who has her own nail polish business. She creates the colors and the textures, and it's amazing. It's beautiful. But when she does her Instagram post about her new polished colors, she always gives some really wonderful and amazing Black history.
Okay.
And she tells stories I've never heard before. And this particular story, she told because on, I guess at the time it was July 7th, but yesterday would have been the anniversary, August 7th, of when Mr. Anderson, a slave to Colonel Anderson in Tennessee, had gotten his freedom, moved to Dayton, Ohio with his family. And when many of the slaves got free, many of the plantations couldn't function because the plantation owners did not know anything about the industry, did not know anything about how to take care of the land, didn't know anything about planting, about cultivating, about harvesting. And so the plantations fell apart. So Colonel Anderson, after maybe many years, decided to write Mr. Anderson, who was one of his slaves, asking him, dare I say, begging him to come back to the plantation because this was his last ditch hope to save the plantation. The plantation was in disrepair, was in disarray. It was falling apart. He needed him to come back to care for the plantation. And in reply to Colonel Anderson, he wrote a letter himself. And it was interesting because Ooh Polish says it was like the most amazing clapback to Colonel Anderson having the audacity to actually write him and say, beg him to come back to the plantation. So in that moment of him asking him to come back to the plantation, and in the reply, he says to him, in essence, but you know what, you guys, this is going to seem a little long, but I'm going to play it for you because it's just better for you to hear it yourself. So let me play this for you. Here it goes.
Imagine being free from slavery for months or even years, and you receive a letter from your former slave master asking, matter of fact, begging you to come back and help work on the land because he does not know what he's doing at all. After the Civil War, there were tons of plantation owners literally tracking down and harassing formerly enslaved people with letters asking them and begging them to come back to these plantations because they did not know how to work the land at all. This man received one of those letters. He decided to do something a little different. Not only write back, but clap back. And we're going to read that in a couple seconds. Now get this. After he sent that letter to his former slave master, within 2 years, that former slave master had to sell his land for pennies and died. And what's even crazier is that researchers found the descendants of that slave master. Do y'all know that they are still mad at this man for leaving? Let's get started and learn something new. Think back to 1825 real quick. This is Jordan Anderson. And at 8 years old, he was sold to the Anderson family. He served the Anderson family for 39 years. He was married there to his wife, Amanda, and they ended up having 11 children. Fast forward to 1865. Jordan Anderson and his wife, Amanda, and their kids are doing well. They're in Dayton, Ohio. He has a new job. He is not enslaved, and he is being paid well. He receives a letter from Colonel Anderson, his former slave master, who said that the plantation is in disarray. There's no one there to harvest the crops, and that this is his last-ditch effort to save the plantation. And Jordan Anderson says, I don't give a damn. And this month was the anniversary of this letter, August 7th, 1865. Jordan Anderson dictated his response through his new boss, Valentine Winters, and it was published in the Cincinnati Commercial. The letter entitled Letter from a Freedman to His Old Master.
1865. To my old master, Colonel P.H. Anderson, Big Spring, Tennessee. Sir, I got your letter and was glad to find that you had not forgotten Jordan and that you wanted me to come back and live with you again, promising to do better for me than anyone else can. I have often felt uneasy about you. I thought the Yankees would have hung you before this. For harboring rebs that they found at your house. I suppose they never heard about your going to Colonel Martin's to kill the Union soldier that was left by his company in their stable. Although you shot at me twice before I left you, I did not want to hear of your being hurt and am glad that you are still living. It would do me good to go back to dear old home again and see Miss Mary and Miss Martha, Alan, Esther, Green, and Lee. Give my love to them all and tell them I hope we will meet in the better world, if not in this. I would have gone back to see you all when I was working in the Nashville hospital, but one of the neighbors told me that Henry intended to shoot me if he ever got a chance. I want to know particularly what the good chance is you propose to give me. I am doing tolerably well here. I get $25 a month with victuals and clothing, have a comfortable home for Mandy. The folks call her Mrs. Anderson. And the children, Millie, Jane, and Grundy, go to school and are learning well. The teacher says that Grundy has a head for a preacher. They go to Sunday school and Mandy and me attend church regularly. We are kindly treated. Sometimes we overhear others saying them colored people were slaves down in Tennessee. The children, they feel hurt when they hear such remarks, but I tell them it was no disgrace in Tennessee to belong to Colonel Anderson. Many darkies would have been proud, as I used to be, to call you master. Now, if you will write and say what wages you will give me, I will better be able to decide whether it would be to my advantage to move back again. As to my freedom, which you say I can have, well, there's nothing to be gained on that score, as I got my free papers in 1864 from the Provost Marshal General of the Department of Nashville. Mandy says she would be afraid to go back without some proof that you were disposed to treat us kindly and justly. And we have concluded to test your sincerity by asking you to send us our wages for the time that we served you. This will make us forget and forgive old scores, and rely on your justice and friendship in the future. I served you faithfully for 32 years, and Mandy 20 years. At $25 a month for me, $2 a week for Mandy, our earnings would amount to $11,680. Add this, the interest for the time of our wages have been kept back, and deduct what you paid for our clothing and 3 doctor visits for me, pulling a tooth for Mandy, and the balance will show what we are in justice entitled to. Please send the money by Adams Express in care of V. Winters, Esquire, Dayton, Ohio. If you fail to pay us for our faithful labors in the past, we can have little faith in your promises in the future. We trust the good maker has opened your eyes to the wrongs which you and your fathers have done to me and my fathers in making us toil for you for generations without recompense. Here I draw my wages every Saturday night, but in Tennessee, there was never any payday for the Negroes any more than for the horses and cows. Surely there will be a day of reckoning for those who defraud the laborer of his hire. In answering this letter, please state if there would be any safety for my Millie and Jane, who are now grown up and both good-looking girls. You know how it was with poor Matilda and Catherine. I would rather stay here and starve and die if it came to that, than to have my girls brought to shame and violence by the wickedness of their young masters. You will also please state if there have been any schools open for the colored children in your neighborhood. The great desire of my life now is to give my children an education and have them form virtuous habits. Say howdy to George Carter and thank him for taking the pistol from you when you were shooting at me. Your old servant, Jordan Anderson.
As I said before, a researcher was able to find the descendants of Colonel Anderson, the slave master. Now, he says, I actually contacted the descendants of Colonel Anderson. I couldn't find Jordan Anderson's descendants, but we'll get to that in a second because there are descendants. He said, but I did find some of them were still living in Big Springs, Tennessee. What's amazing is that the current living relatives of Colonel Anderson are still angry at Jordan for not coming back, or to say that he should have been faithful and come back to the plantation to help out because he knew that the plantation was in such disrepair because of the Civil War. We're eventually able to find the descendants of Jordan Anderson, and this is his great-grandson. Now, Jordan Anderson worked a lot of jobs up until he was 79 years old, and he passed away about 1905, and his wife passed away in 1913, and she's buried right next to him. And the researcher Raymond Winbush, who was able to find those descendants, summarized this perfectly. We have not done the repair in this country that is necessary to heal racism. As I grow older, I'm very cynical about the fact of whether this country country will ever resolve its issues of race, because in this country, people do not want to speak the truth about it. They're in a state of denial about it. I think in order for reparations to begin, we must all engage in the necessary dialogue. I hope you learned something new.
Thank y'all for listening to that with us. That Instagram reel has left a profound, thought mark on me today, because there's so many things that are changing, and we are in the midst of such great change as a striving Kemetic community in the diaspora, as Africans born in America, as we see, Africa, the continent, but the upheaval and change that are going on in specific countries in Africa, especially in Burkina Faso. And if y'all don't know about the changes that are going on in West Africa, in particular Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore, please go seek out some real news. Because if all you are listening to is the blah of Trump, and not seeking out what's going on in the world to really understand the dynamics of even what's happening here, you are doing yourself a great disservice. But in listening to this man's reply, his letter of reply, and I hear so often, in the streets, well, we ain't our ancestors. And they say it as a slight to our ancestors. And I want to say we absolutely are not. Because those ancestors had a firm grasp on their conditions, who they were, and what they were fighting for. In the changes that happened in their lives, they understood that they had to be able to adjust and change. And in all that man has been through, which I'm certain is far more than what any of us have been through, he still spoke with such grace and eloquence, fairness, and compassion. Even after all that had been done to him, he wished no harm on who used to be his master, as he said, his old master. How many of us could even say, and so many people will look at that as saying, oh, well, that's because he was weak, I would have did bop, bop, bop. Listen, the reality is, if we were there in that time, we would have been either one or two things. An alive slave, towing the line, or a fighting slave trying to change the structure and insurrect. That's it. But we sure enough wouldn't have been doing much different. No matter how much people say I would have been, you wouldn't.
You'd have been getting whipped.
That's it. That's it. Now, where we are in the midst of this change, the whip is just a different tool. The whip tends to be social media that keeps us in line, that, keeps us plugged in and following the agenda of whatever we've swiped. The whip becomes the employer that no matter what, you have to work for to try to make ends meet. The whip becomes the doctor that you have to go to because we don't even understand our own bodies and how to take care of our health. The whip becomes the stores that we go to get our food that's not even real food. The whip don't have to be anymore the lashings and the pain that comes from it hitting your back. Our backs are broken. And the physical whip never had to be used. So this profound reel that I found that's like just hit me, I thought was powerful because in our podcast, we are at a crossroads of where we're going to go next and how we are going to be better and do better. And as we as individuals improve upon ourselves and really reflect on all that we've gained from the Earth Center and from being initiates and from being, for some of you out there, you are members. For some of you out there, you've just been listening to our podcast, and we appreciate that. But everything that we do is so that we can evolve. Everything that we bring to this podcast is so we can evolve. So I am looking forward myself, my brother Bikgeb here. You'll hear from Sister Linnea in the future. She's joining our podcast. We hope that Shemteru Tankawar, my co-host that you've heard in the past, will be with us. But understand that we're undergoing a change, y'all. So we may not sound exactly like you remember in the future, but it's going to be that we have a future. We keep going. We're going to be giving you great stuff. And we have some things to chat about. Mm-hmm. The world is changing, y'all, and we have to be ready to change with it. And you have to look at your place in it and what that means. How we begin to heal, how we begin to address our trauma from a communal standpoint. Collectively, those of the West are dealing with mass depression. And that depression, even when you're unaware of it, comes from the foundation of what this culture was made on, which is greed and power, the oppression of one group of people, their identities, and the benefits of what you can take from those who are oppressed so that another group of people can have gains, whatever that looks like and how that fits. But now we're seeing the fallout of it, and the world is changing. And the Starlight Podcast, we want to be here to help you navigate those seasons of change. So that's it. That was our little vaulted episode, y'all. Stay tuned. We are going to continue to be once a month on the first Tuesday.
First Tuesday of every month.
We're going to be dropping some things. We have a lot of amazing artists that we want to bring on the Griot's Corner. Some amazing new artists. Again, we want to open that up to the community. If you have an artistic vein and you want to share that with the world, let us know. Drop us a line. Our new way of getting in contact with us.
Our new email will be the new Starlight Podcast at gmail.com. That's the new Starlight Podcast at gmail.com.
That is the way that you can reach us right now. We will be definitely check out our Podbean website. You can drop us a line there. Look forward to us having our YouTube presence coming in the future. We got some things popping, y'all. But for now, we're just gonna keep our heads down, work hard to be dropping you guys some quality episodes, full episodes, not just vaulted episodes.
Full episodes.
Yeah, full episodes of our podcast every first Tuesday. So the next one will be coming out in September. It's already queued up and ready to go, y'all. Is it queued up and ready to go? Well, listen, if it ain't queued up and ready to go, it will be.
I think we had one in the queue. It didn't. It was supposed to drop, but we didn't drop it because there was a lot of changes going on. So we held on to it for a little bit, but it's coming.
Yeah. So we have one that will come out, but then will be consistent of every first Tuesday. So definitely, stay tuned. If there is a topic that you would like us to tackle, we want to open that up to our community as well. Just feel free to drop us a line at the Starlight Podcast at gmail.com. So that's all I got, y'all, for this Welton episode. You got any closing words for the world out there? Bikgeb.
Just again, if there's any comments, any questions, any topics, any artistry submissions, whether it be music, spoken word, you got a song that you want us to play, anything like that, send it in to the Starlight Podcast at gmail.com for review. Preferably, if it's something recorded, a WAV file, MP3 is welcome as well. Yeah, just put down the whip.
I know that's right.
Put down the whip and be a little more selfish. Do something for yourself. Earlier before we started recording, and you had that comment about having the energy and the motivation to do for someone else. When you're on the clock, but you don't have that energy for yourself. So just have some energy and some consideration for yourself. And if you want to express it through the Starlight Podcast, we're here for you.
Absolutely. That's a big thing. Just to double back on what Bikgeb said, we go to work for someone else and put our hard energy into their growth. We very often, and this is no slight from us from a standpoint of parenting, we take the time to give our children the best. Or at least we should. But we have to really think about the fact that the way these external things can truly have the best of us is if we first cultivate the best in ourselves. And understanding what that looks like for an individual in nature, in reality, and in the spiritual context. And we're going to get into that in coming podcasts. But you really have to think about, what does it mean to really take care of yourself? The food that you're eating, the things you're entertaining in your space, whether that's your physical space in your home, or if it's the space of your mind, the things that you're allowing to enter into you. Being selfish really is about you having the time, the energy to pour into the betterment of you. And so often we are willing participants, willing slaves to pour into others or other things externally from us. And in the end, it truly doesn't help the individual. So thank you for doubling back on that, Bikgeb.
Absolutely. There's one last thing I want to say. I want to point out the fact that us in the West have developed two things. One is an allergy, and the second one is an addiction. We're allergic to hard work.
Ooh, okay.
And addicted to convenience.
Yes.
And the reason why I bring that up is because I was just thinking about, being a little selfish, doing for self, and the benefits and the rewards that come from that. Because yesterday we were out in the yard, me, Linnea, and our friend Anna were out there doing some yard work. Because a couple months ago, and I'll say this as well, there's nothing wrong with supporting a black business.
That's right.
But not all black businesses are worth supporting.
Hey! Tell it.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
A business is a business, and it needs to be of quality. Black, white, Asian, doesn't matter.
That's right.
So a couple months ago, we were trying to support a friend in his landscaping business. And we asked him to cut down this tree that was in our yard. We had about 3 or 4 trees, and this one in particular was kind of taking over a back corner. And we were trying to put a garden there, so it was a lot. It's taking up a lot of space and shade. I'm sorry, sunlight. So we asked him to cut it. He cuts it down and just leaves it on the ground. Just leaves it on the ground. Mind you, the tree is on the other side of the yard, on the other side of the gate, but it's hanging over our yard, so that's why we needed to cut. And he just like leaves it on the ground. Never comes back. He came back like once and was supposed to pick up, it was a lot, so pick it up, a little by little, and he was doing something in the front yard. When I came home, I didn't even realize he did anything out there. But the big thing was that nothing was picked up in the yard. And this is on the other side of the gate, so it's technically in the neighbor's yard.
Oh, wow.
So it makes it our responsibility to pick it up. So he's BSing, and just we found somebody else to take care of our yard, and we never seen him again.
Wow.
Fast forward to the recent Prime Day sale. I know some of y'all was on Prime. I was on there. I got some yard equipment though.
I know that's right.
I did it I needed it. It was beneficial.
Beneficial exchange.
I wasn't just caught up in the sales.
That's right.
Got me a lawnmower, edger. It's like a edger and a weed whacker trim combo.
Oh, nice.
And a leaf blower and a pole saw.
Okay.
Right. So we can do some work. We use the pole saw, cut down some branches, lawnmower, and the rest. That's, self-explanatory. Nonetheless, last evening, the three of us were in the yard, getting it done. Cutting down them hedges that's overtaking the back gate. And on that side gate where that tree was cut down, we chopping stuff up, picking up the tree that was there. And it was rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
It was rewarding. I didn't even realize I was sweating as much as I did until I touched my shirt and it was drenched. And then just looking at the after.
Yeah.
That before and after. Before it was just wild, uncultivated. And then putting in that work, getting it done, you look at it, it looks like a brand new yard. On this side, we can actually see the neighbors.
Yeah.
We had ourselves isolated unintentionally, but you could see it feels more free, more open. And I was tired. Ooh. Got in the house, took that shower. I was like, I'm tired. Got that good sleep.
Right,
that
good time.
well-deserved sleep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The well-deserved. Whether it's you taking the time to cut down, cultivate the overgrowth of your yard or the overgrowth of your life. It's going to be hard work. We can't shy away from it. And the reward comes after you've done the work. I like your analogy. We in the West have two problems.
Yeah. Got allergies now and an addiction. But I can prescribe you some medication, some allergy medication. Get out there and do some work.
I know that's right.
Because that's the only thing you can do. You got to reverse the process. Put your phone down. Ain't nothing on it.
Okay. Y'all who like Erica, she said, I can make you put your phone down. Listen, don't let Erica be the only thing that makes you put your phone down. Put your phone down. Get out there. If you are living life, there's no time to videotape it.
Yeah.
There ain't no time to take pictures. If you're living life, you're not going to have time to capture it. The capture is the emotion of living it and having the memory of it. The capture is how it's changed your life because you're living the life. The capture is the feeling in your body because you've done something. It's not going to be on a video. It's not going to necessarily be on a picture.
Yeah, it's not going to be in your camera roll with the other 5,000 pictures that you have and don't look at.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's, I like that. You're gonna have to say that a few more times. I like that allergy and addiction. That's nice, Bikgeb. That's nice, and that's true. So that's it, y'all. I think that's it for our vaulted episode. stay tuned, everyone. We're going to be recording in the future because of these changes in our full episodes, you hear a lot at the end of resources and things that you can get to. Those things are no longer available in the same way. So we are going to change that. It's not that you're not going to have access to resources. We're going to give you new resources that you can have access to. So things are going to sound a little different. Things are going to be a little different, and I hope you stay with us for the journey. So from me, myself, Neferista, Merrusheta, and from my brother right here,
Bikgeb, Nejabu,
we want to say, Iriharu, later, y'all.
Iriharu, do I for listening. Thank you.
Peace.
Peace. Ujai once again. Thank you for listening to a vaulted episode of the Starlight Podcast. Tune in next episode where we'll either continue a new series or get into a new main discussion. Shout out to On Costa Natural Healing. You can check them out at anhlife.org. That's anhlife.org for natural remedies, herbs, readings, and more. Stay tuned for a new social media presence from us. Those details are coming soon, but for now, you can send us an email at thenewstarlightpodcast@gmail.com. That's thenewstarlightpodcast@gmail.com. No worries, just a new email, not a new name of our podcast. Email us with any comments, questions, and concerns, as well as your Griot's Corner submissions. We'd love to hear from you. But for now, may you shine as bright as the starlight in the night. Iriharu. Peace.